Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here once again. Right, friggin' this camera's been a pain in the arse recently because no matter what, no matter how good it looks in the viewfinder, right, whenever I watch this back on my PC, it's always like a really squint angle, you know, like this is not properly aligned, even though it looks fine in the viewfinder. To me, I don't know, it's annoying, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about a glorious day, a sort of rare triumph that I don't get to experience that often these days. And what is that? Well, we're going to be reviewing Tokyo Mirage Sessions, or Shin Megami X Fire Emblem, depends what you want to talk about it. And the reason why it's always such a triumph is because getting through a game like this is always just like, I don't know, it's always very rewarding to finally see the end of it to me. And I've talked about before that mentality and all that, and about how I shouldn't just play games in order to beat them. I should be enjoying them as I go along, otherwise I might as well not be playing games in the first place. Well, what's to say about this one? I have a lot to say about this one. I have some fucking notes over there. I want to make sure I don't miss anything out, okay? So, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, right? Wii U exclusive JRPG developed by Atlas was announced more or less right at the beginning of the Wii U's life cycle, like a good few years ago. Became vaporware for like another couple of years, and then was eventually like completely revealed a few years ago as this sort of like really. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room real quick. This game is weeb as fuck, okay? I keep using that terminology in videos and on Twitter, and everybody is always telling me, Duck, you do know you're playing a Japanese game, right? And I respond, yes, I know I'm playing the Japanese game, right? I play a lot of fucking Japanese games, okay? My point of saying that is that this game is really Japanese, you know? I really hope there's people in Japan, right, that will look at this game on the shelf and sort of like roll their eyes and tut their lips as if to say, oh, so generic, you know, the same way we would like look at a game like Call of Duty or something, you know. I'm hoping that's the case because yes, this game is extremely Japanese and is very, very like deep in like your sort of Japanese pop culture. Literally, that's the whole focus of the game, right? To the point where, why the fuck did you even make this a crossover between Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei, you know? Excuse me. So, when I saw the reveal trailer a couple of years ago, I and many other gamers pointed this out and was a little bit peeved about it, that the like crossover to two such hardcore RPG franchises would result in something like this. And now that I've actually beaten the game, I was absolutely right. But something unexpected rather happened. I really, really like this game. I really did. This is a very, very good RPG, right? I can safely say it's completely blown my expectations out the water, all that jazz. Tokyo Mirage Sessions for the Wii U is really, really good, okay? Especially when you consider this was like the last hurrah, almost, right? I mean, I was sure that Breath of the Wild would come out at the beginning of next year for the Wii U. Don't know if the NX version is going to coincide with that. I'll probably pick it up on the Wii U regardless, but I didn't think I was going to get like an experience like this, you know, a feeling of, yes, this is a good game I'm playing on my Wii U, you know. I didn't think I'd ever get that again, but I did, and I actually got a bit teary-eyed, because it's like, the Wii U's dead, you know, nothing's going to come out. Like, I don't care about Mario and Sonic, I don't care about the Paper Mario game, you know. Do care about Zelda, but that's pretty much it. After that, no more fun memories with the Wii U. So, that kind of got me thinking, not gonna lie. But, okay, talking about the actual game. Right, now, when actually, little fact here, right, when this game got announced, I actually was kind of conflicted because, and when I say announced, I mean like 4 years ago when literally we just had the name Shin Megami X Fire Emblem, you know. I was a little bit conflicted internally because here was this like big announcement from Nintendo, a Wii U exclusive, and I was like, oh shit, I'm really unfamiliar with both of these series. And yeah, over the past few years I've dug into them from here and there. You know, I've played quite a few Fire Emblem games, played quite a few Shin Megami Tensei games, And I would say I'm like a moderate fan of like both of them. You know, I'm not mega hardcore, but I do like them. I really do. And this game is like definitely a Shin Megami Tensei game. You know, it's actually developed by Atlus, so I guess that makes sense. It's definitely a Shin Megami Tensei game with very sort of slight Fire Emblem references. There's no really any like sort of the gameplay is nothing like Fire Emblem, basically is what I'm saying. You know, it is Fire Emblem in name only, which makes sense because otherwise, you know, this game never would have fucking existed, okay? I don't know what game Atlus would have made in its stead, but it probably would have had no Fire Emblem characters and wind up on PS4 or something. So, yeah, they needed those Fire Emblem characters so that Nintendo could convince them to make a Wii U exclusive. That's how I look at it. Yeah, like, despite the fact that it seems almost really pointless for it to be a crossover in the first place, it's just a damn good Shin Megami Tensei game in itself, you know? Somewhat Persona-esque, you know? You go into dungeons and stuff, there's no, like, time limit or anything like you do get in Persona, but you do sort of have little side quests with the cast, most of which are kind of hit and miss, honestly. In terms of characters and stuff, but ultimately it comes down to that sort of like real hardcore Shin Megami gameplay, and of course the style of it. You know, like every time I would see an enemy in this game, or every time I would fight a boss, I'd look at its design and that, and I would just say to myself, "This is Shin Megami Tensei." You know, it really was. It felt very authentic, despite being so drastically different, a lot more upbeat, colourful. In a series that is generally, like, extremely dark, you know? It was a weird sort of surreal mix of just this sort of really vibrant, in-your-face pop, J-pop culture, and Shin Megami Tensei's sort of more darker, gritty themes that you'd normally get. You know, it felt so out of place, but at the same time weirdly familiar. It was, I'm really surprised. It felt like, even if this wasn't like a Fire Emblem crossover game or whatever, you know, I really think this game would have just fit in just fine in the series as like its own spin-off or whatever, you know. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about here? Weeb as fuck. Did it need to be a crossover? Characters are so-so. I'll talk about this here. Saying the characters were so-so, like, I'll give you an example, right? Tsubasa, the main, like, the main girl. Okay, that's what she is. She is the main girl, you know? As soon as she starts talking, you know, as soon as you start interacting with her, you know immediately what type of character she's going to be. If you've played a lot of JRPGs or watched a fair amount of anime, like myself, you know, you're like, okay, this is the main girl, okay? Soon enough, you will meet the girl with the big tits, okay? Soon enough, you will meet the girl who calls you Oni-chan, who they made into Tiki. It's like, how dare you? And then you'll meet like your best male friend who is awful with women, and your other male friend who is like your rival. You know, it's so fucking by the numbers. And when I saw it, I was rolling my eyes. I was and I was like, ugh, you know, like that's sort of mega cynical. Like, but by the end of the game, I was like, I'm sorry to see these guys go. Okay, and I actually think I learned something. Like this gave me like a new perspective for playing JRPGs, you know? It's like, you can have annoying characters, you know, but if by the end of the game you grow attached to them and you actually miss them despite the fact that you still think they're annoying, they gotta have done something right, and that's how I felt with this. I was sorry to see them go. I think I'll take that like way of thinking with me whenever I go to play another game, really. So again, gotta give props to that, I really do. Let's see, what else? Yeah, and I guess in terms of like how it plays and stuff, you know, like I said, you've just got your sort of dungeons. All the dungeons are really good. I remember every one of them, you know. Typically in Shin Megami Tensei games, dungeon consists mainly of like hallways and stuff, like especially the Persona games where they're randomly generated. Or sometimes you'll have something like Etrian Odyssey, where it's just like first person and you're just moving about, you know, not too much in the way of like standout moments within dungeons, but that changes with this. Oh, it definitely does. Every dungeon has its own theme and gimmick to it, and it's really memorable, I think. You know, I'm pretty sure this is how, in a way, Persona 5 will probably play out in terms of its dungeon design. Because I know in Persona 5 they're getting rid of like all the random hallways and stuff. And this game in general has got me a lot more hyped for Persona 5. You know, I was definitely gonna play it, but now I'm just like, I don't know. It's put me in the mood for it now. You know, really has. But yeah, like I keep saying, it just plays like a really good JRPG, despite being extremely generic in a lot of ways. And but like to get to the main ranting point here, this is the point I really want to just like rub in so badly, right? The only true thing that I hated about the game, right, was the main character. Except it wasn't really the main character, it was how the cast acted around the main character. Because main characters in Shin Megami Tensei games are typically silent, you know? You get given a dialogue option every now and then, and the story is basically usually, you focus on the characters around the main character, you know? You're supposed to project yourself onto them, all that bollocks, and I guess this game tries to do this, despite the fact that they gave Itsuki, that's the main character's name by the way, despite the fact that they gave him a voice, he is like, he does nothing, there is nothing to him, you know, he is such a bland character who is impossible to hate but also impossible to like, but the rest of the cast treat him like a god, you know, it gets so annoying after a while, like, seriously, when you play the game, right, count how many times one of the characters said, oh, Itsuki, I couldn't have done this without you, oh, it's all thanks to you, Itsuki, I couldn't, you're the reason I made it this far, you know, and like, every time that came up, I'm just looking at it saying, what the fuck did he do? He didn't do anything, he was just there, and yeah, I get why it's like that, okay, it's because this is a JRPG, you're sort of like Japanese otaku, I guess, has got to project themselves onto it, so the rest of the cast, especially all the female cast, thinks that they are brilliant, and yeah, but I don't know, maybe I'm just tired of that, I guess, you know, I would have liked a character who was a bit more relatable or a bit less overpraised and stuff. It's such a weird nitpick, but it really was the only thing that brought me down with this game. I'll take a silent protagonist over handling it like that any day for sure. But yeah, I think that's everything I really wanted to talk about. But this game is really good. I'm very surprised and very pleased. If you got a Wii U, do go check it out, right? If you're into SMT and all that. I guess it's true that this won't be for everybody, but if you know you're into this stuff, I say definitely go for it. It's a nice little last hurrah for the Wii U, I think. It makes me sad to see the console go so suddenly. Probably, yeah, well, I was going to say it's got to be in my top 10 Wii U games, but that's not exactly hard, so yeah. I think I'm probably just mega biased with this, but I think I like Xenoblade Chronicles X a bit more. Okay, that's still probably my favourite, well, Xenoblade Chronicles X and this are pretty much the only JRPGs on the Wii U, unless you count things like Child of Light and stuff. But we're rambling at this point, well, we've rambled up until this point, so I'll end it here. So yeah, see you later guys, thanks for watching, bye bye.